Brian, it's great to have you again on Rugby AM, and I don't want to come across as over dramatic, but I'm really excited about today, and I'll tell you why. I think this game's got a real historic value to it. Because I remember Eric Perez 5-6 years ago running around Edinburgh, running around Leeds in north of England with a DSLR and a mate talking about promoting rugby league in Canada. Right, and I remember thinking at the time, all the very best, Paul. Yeah, I love your zeal, I love your enthusiasm, but all the very best because it's a tough gig. And now it's real, it's happening, and I'm won't for a minute assume that the novelty's worn off for you, but this is really happening, isn't it?
Everything you want in a game of rugby league is here today. So you've got ambition and dreams. You've just spoken about Eric and the dream of Toronto and Wolfpack and a team from Canada. You've got a resurgent Salford team that are third in the Super League. You've got some history and noise in and around that team as well. You've got a competition that's the oldest challenge competition in the country, professional challenge competition in the country, and you've got two great footballing teams. So you're not being over dramatic. You pretty much hit the nail on the head. This is an exciting game with all those. If you want to be a traditionalist, you can throw that in there, because you can argue and debate about where the game's going and things. If you want to just watch a fantastic game of footy, that's going to be on show as well.
Absolutely.
And then we'll have some drama. We'll do some drama in Crisis, me and you. How about that?
Absolutely, yeah, mate, I can't wait. I'm going to get really excited. I think we're doing a bit of streaming as well with Alex today, but you was involved with Celtic Crusaders, and I think of teams like London Broncos, Catalan Dragons. There's been a lot of teams over the years who've had a demographic or a geographic location that could be attractive to players to go spend a bit of time in south of France or in the big smog down in London. But I've never seen a team that's got the attraction power of Toronto Wolfpack. Now, players seem to want to be going and play there, and they've got a fantastic squad. What is it that attracts those guys?
Well, I'd like to think the coach role has helped in selling a dream. We've sold a dream along with Eric and the owner David. Toronto's a city of 10 million people. It's fantastically cosmopolitan, and it's sports mad. So not only will you go there and watch a game of rugby league, you go there and you can watch the Blue Jays or the Raptors or any of their teams, and they're walking around, and everybody intermixes and has a good social time. So it's a wonderful place to be. You're 45 minutes from Niagara Falls. You're a 30-minute plane flight, which is the same as a bus trip over here to New York. So there's a lot of things going for Toronto, but first and foremost, we got this footy team to get going, and we've got some good players, we understand that, but we're wanting to attract more, we're wanting to attract fans, we want to be everybody's second favourite team over here until we start beating teams. You know the rules. Once you start beating them, they don't like you. But it's ambitious, and there's a lot of pioneership about the whole thing. We're thinking that, can we get a result today against the third team in Super League? Can we do this? We've made some good noises, and we've made a footprint, but we understand it's for the long term as well. My dream personally would be to see a whole new Canadian competition or North American competition that improves the bloodstock, if you like, of rugby league players right across the world.
Well, one of the highlights of my week this week was meeting Monty Gattis, this out-and-out American guy who's coming over. He's showing his American football footwork down at an amateur club like Shawcross, and the enthusiasm was just contagious. Now, you've been a fantastic servant of rugby league. You're a brilliant evangelist for the game. How enthusiastic does it make you to go over there and see people like him, Americans, who could potentially take this game by the scruff of the neck and exponentially grow it in a new heartland?
Well, let's explain to our viewers. Monty Gaddis, I'll use him as an example. He came to the first trial in Toronto as an ex-Cleveland Brown fringe player. And I thought, honestly, no chance. This kid, enthusiastic, his leadership skills were great. He paid for himself then to go to the next two trials. One was in Philly and one was down in Tampa. Do you know what? He got better and better and better. So there's been a lot of hurdles thrown in his way. I like people that get older. He led the group. His leadership skills are first class. And then we picked him to play against. We had a trial of the 20 top North Americans that we thought were going to perhaps get a contract, three of them, which he missed out there. Was that the end of the story? No way. Keep bashing down the door. He came over here. Now he's playing amateur rugby league over here with a view to getting better and better. So we'll eventually one day give him a tick in the box. There are 3 others from all those trials that are playing amateur rugby league in this country now. Well, if that's not an example of fortitude and never say die and keep knocking down the hurdles. I was fortunate enough to coach a guy that you know very, very well, Jamie Peacock.
Yep.
And he had more hurdles put in him between the ages of 18 to 22 where he should have given in. And he never gave in.
Yep.
And you know, these kids, they just don't give in. They keep coming. So it was a long answer to your short question, JJB, but I think there's plenty of bloodstock out there and there's plenty of willingness and hunger for this game.
Imagine if you can bring that American dream to rugby league where it could potentially go. And just talking about this competition, you've got a big history with it as well. You've won it twice as a coach. What will it mean to those boys representing Toronto to come in this first example of their Challenge Cup journey?
Yeah, it's a massive competition and it carries the history of our game, really. Remember, the Challenge Cup carried our game for 85 years in reality. Whilst we still had the league and the domestic competition, it wasn't as big as Super League is now, with the grand final. So the Challenge Cup is a thing of dreams. It's your Ellery Hanleys, it's prior to that it's your Alex Murphys, it's your Neil Foxes, it's your Don Fox missing the kick under the sticks.
Well, lad.
I know, sorry, but the history of the game is encapsulated in that wonderful silver trophy that I've managed as a coach to get my hands on. I had 4 semi-finals as a player, so not everybody gets to play at Wembley. Not everybody gets to touch that hallowed trophy, if you like. And then to put the new mix of Toronto against Salford on here today, on a cracking day as well, 2 good footballing teams. I just think you've got all the right ingredients to write another chapter, or a verse at least, in the history of this trophy.
And Salford and the Lance Todd Trophy, obviously synonymous with the Challenge Cup. Just give us your thoughts externally of Salford this season. When you think about how close it was at OKR, could potentially not even be in this league, to be right up there at the top and playing well as well.
Well, I think it just goes to show the terrific job Watto's done.
Yeah.
And the galvanising of this particular team. You can see they clearly play for each other. Their team spirit's first class and 100%. So that's the first thing you got to do against this Salford team. You've got to match their spirit and their enthusiasm and their endeavour. They play a good brand of football. They're well coached, is what I'm saying, and they like each other. And when you've got those 2 ingredients, sometimes the synergy of that kind of experiment. They're 3rd in the league, for goodness sake. They've been doing some great things, and they've been knocking off good teams. So I'm thrilled for them. I think it shows what can be done, as you quite rightly pointed out. Was it this much, the drop goal, this side of the post, that side of the post, sport. And it might be a completely different story. So you're right, that's sport.
Excellent. Me and Simo, we've got to go do a job pretty soon. We're going to be doing some live streaming to the rest of the world now. The guys on that side of the pond, what tips can you give me and Alex in terms of what message we really want to get across to those people in Toronto, Canada, America who might be watching today's game? Yeah,
just keep it simple.
Yep.
It's just pretty much 6 downs, and they've got to smash it that way, and then it's 6 down the other way. The great thing for the people of America is they ain't getting no rest, these players. They've got to play both sides of the fence. So that these are multi-talented, the best athletes in the world, because the things that they put their body through just to get to this stage. In an afternoon, you'll see kicking. You won't see any forward passes. You're not allowed to do that in this great game of rugby league. They're going to have to pass the ball backwards. You'll see interchanges of play that will absolutely thrill you, but it's non-stop. I spoke to somebody in Philadelphia about the game, and I like it. It's like a game of NFL mixed with MMA. So I don't know how you do that. NFL and MMA, and you've got rugby league. Great sport.
Cheers, Brian. As always, you're always an inspiration. Hopefully one day I'll be commentating with his vocabulary as well. Unbelievable. Thanks for your time with us.